So remember to upskill yourself. Don't keep yourself in a box, because the longer you keep yourself in the box, which is going to take that box, you know what we're going to do? We're going to step on top of the box and we're going to climb higher. Included in your strategy is the research. You're going to know which platforms work for you. So we're going to take you through what it means and how you start building a paid media campaign, where to go from there, and. Welcome, welcome. It's your girl, Miss Rose, the influencer sister. Welcome to it. This is Creator Conversations. Oh my goodness. It has been maybe 3 years planning this podcast or planning this conversation, and I haven't been able to wrap my head around bringing it to it. So, welcome to it. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Please follow us on social media. The purpose of this podcast, Create a Conversation, is really to have conversations with creators, is to bridge the gap between content creators, brands, and influencer marketing specialists. Because one thing about content creators, they are not as clued up as they need to be about influencer marketing. That's why you have the influencer sister. So thank you so much for joining. Guys, don't mind me, ne? I'm here with my cue cards because I want to make sure that I give you all, they call it the tea, but I want to give you all the relevant information that you are going to need. So again, I just want to give everybody a rundown of what it means to be a content creator, how you fit in that space, how you conversate and how you negotiate with brands and how you communicate with brands. Here we go. Let's start here. Let's talk about influencer marketing. So, I've been in the influencer marketing space for a little while now. I won't say how long, because then you guys are going to start calculating my age, which I don't mind. But influencer marketing is really just a strategic way that brands have now been moving into to communicate with brands, other brands, and communicate with content creators that help them communicate with their community, that help them communicate with their customers, with their consumers. So, influencer marketing is really just the concept that people trust people, not necessarily trust brands. So, if a cool drink brand says, drink this cool drink because it's delicious, of course they're going to say that. They made it. But if Miss Rose tells you to drink it 2 times a day, in the morning, in the afternoon, and even at night, you're going to do it. Why? Because you trust Miss Rose. So that's really what influencer marketing is about. But content creators don't really learn about what it is and how they really fit into the total economy that is influencer marketing. So I'm here with the team. Let's talk about how you build strategic partnerships with brands and with your community. Remember that the strategic partnership doesn't necessarily start with the brand. So you don't just start as a content creator wanting to be the brand's favorite. Start by being your favorite, first of all, and then start building a partnership with your community. They are the ones that trust you, and they are the ones that are going to teach you more things, and they are the ones that are going to make sure that the brands actually see you. Now, how do you get there? Let me move on to my second cue card. Here are the top tips for you as a content creator. First things first, authenticity is key. Yes, content is king, but authenticity is key. It's very, very important to speak like you, to be like you, because it's you that's going to be a favorite. It's not going to be so and so who did something like this because it looks the same. If we all try to do the same thing, we're all going to end up flowing down the river right past the checks, if you know what I'm saying. So, authenticity is very, very key. You also have to be very intentional with content creating. If you're only doing content creation for the bag, it's going to show in your content. But if you are doing content creation because you want to add value in people's lives, you want to add value for the brand, you want to add value for the customers, even for yourself, it's actually going to translate. How do you become intentional with content creating? You don't just start doing lifestyle and beauty just because so and so is doing it. I always say this. If there's one thing we can take away from Grace Mandlana, it's her authenticity. It's been the same ever since. She's never changed. She's never tried to be like anybody else. She's never tried to dress like anybody else. She's always just been herself. But she does just enough to leave room for you that wants to be a content creator like her to actually just add in your own voice into there. So be very, very intentional about your content creation. Be very intentional about how you create your content and why you're doing it. And be intentional in your value that you want to add, not just to your life, but to other people's lives. Let's talk about upskilling yourself. If you are just going to stay in the same position, you are going to stay in the same position. The more you upskill yourself, which means the more you learn about the different platforms that are out there, the more you learn about the different types of content to create, the different types of equipment that is used for content creation, the different types of angles, the different types of stylings, the different types of microphones. There's so many different things that you can use that can elevate your content constantly. So remember to upskill yourself. Don't keep yourself in a box, because the longer you keep yourself in the box, we're just going to take that box. You know what we're going to do? We're going to step on top of the box and we're going to climb higher. So remember to upskill yourself at all times. Research. I'm finding that a lot of content creators are not doing research. So, and when you don't do research, you end up duplicating content, which means you just do what the other person was doing and you expect it to blow up just as much as the other person. But all the while, you haven't added your own voice, you haven't changed it even slightly, you haven't added a drop of authenticity. Because why? You're thinking that it's going to blow up the same way. But if you had to, for example, research what works for you, what setting camera works better for your content, where are you, how the person, that, even if you are looking up to a person that is doing a particular type of content and you want to make the same kind of content, research all the things that they did, all the steps that they took to get to that point of that. Let's talk about strategy. You see, one thing about content creators, y'all, galley judge, no strategy whatsoever, no plan, just pictures and vibes and wanting to be famous and wanting to be viral and wanting to work with certain Coke brands or certain alcohol brands. That's all you do. You have no strategy. So if you don't even have a strategy for what you're going to do when you go viral. So your video goes viral and now you're just there. You haven't planned for your next content piece. You haven't planned what you're going to do with that. You didn't even plan that what will I do with the impact that I'm going to make should this video go viral. So the very first thing that you need to do is have a strategy. In your authentic voice, in your intentional voice, you have a strategy that I want to do my content creation because I want to empower young women, or I want to empower young men, or I want to make a difference, or I want to learn how to cook. There are people that have actually learned how to cook just with content creation. Why? Because they were intentional with it. So a strategy is very, very important, and there are lots of different places. Now, me personally, as the influencer sister, Naked strategist. You know, one day, ne, on the coming up on the episodes that are coming after here, I'm going to have our strategist who's just going to talk about how you come up with a strategy, what kind of strategy works for which campaigns, because there's different types of strategies, obviously, because for the different types of campaigns. So, with that said, strategy, strategy, strategy. It really is the first thing you do, because with the strategy, you know that even though you don't have a high end phone just yet, but I have a strategy that after 2 videos, maybe when I'm at an event, I can ask so and so to borrow me a phone, or maybe I'll do this, or I'll ask the event planner or the event coordinators for the content. But you need to have even just the slightest of plans. With the strategy, you're going to include the research in there, because you're going to know which events to attend, who to talk to, what networking events to talk to, how you get to the next place, because included in your strategy is the research. You're going to know which platforms work for you, because you're going to try and create content. Did you know that not all content goes on all platforms? Yeah, I said it. Just because you see people posting their TikToks on Instagram does not necessarily mean that it works. Some people do it for visibility, some people do it for presence, and some of the content, yes, does work, because the content on TikTok is way more fast paced than the content, for example, that goes on Instagram. Instagram is a little bit more mellow, where you'll sit down and you'll consume a little bit more and you look at things aesthetically. Whereas on TikTok, you're really just there for just a quick bite when you kind of need to find nails. I find my nail tag when I move to my new place. I find my nail tag on TikTok. I found my lash technician on TikTok. I just didn't know. I just said lash tech near me and I named where I stay and I found it. But would I have been able to do that on Instagram? No. Would I have been able to do that on Facebook? The people that I found on Facebook, I wouldn't be here today. Oh. But I'm just saying, so remember that not all the content that goes on TikTok will go on Instagram and vice versa. So don't overwhelm yourself. So in your strategy, you know that I'm creating TikToks today or I'm creating Instagram content today that can adapt and be on TikTok. Facebook, sometimes. A lot of the content that we're posting on Instagram does go on Facebook. So you don't necessarily have to have a strategy. The strategy that goes into Facebook is for the paid ads. That's for when you're working with brands and you're doing social media management. We are going to get into that because at Influencer Sister, we are social media management agency. So we're going to take you through what it means and how you start building a paid media campaign, where to go from there, and. So once you've strategized, now you go into implementation. Now, I'm going to put myself on blast here because I've been strategizing this podcast, like I said, for 2 years or so, and I haven't moved into implementation until now. God's timing and things, but it really does get to a point where you have to actually just start. A lot of the times we do kind of put ourselves under the pressure of waiting to get the perfect camera, the perfect makeup artist, the perfect outfit, the perfect studio, the perfect this and that. But it is very, very, very important that you do start to move into the implementation phase. How do you do that? Collaborate with other creators, collaborate with other content producers, collaborate with strategists. Because you'll find that sometimes maybe you do have the intention to create the content, but maybe you don't necessarily have the resources. So you can just find out, hey, are you shooting content? Ask a videographer, ask a photographer if they're able to do a trade, but only do one trade. Don't try to trade for people because trades don't pay rent and stuff. So ask other collaborators around you, find resources that can help you to get to a point where you are into implementation. Because the longer you don't do things, is the more other people are going to be doing it. And you're going to keep seeing one idea after the other that you had that people are going to keep executing. So implementation is extremely key. But you would have done that by surrounding yourself and putting yourself in the environment that will have you um, broaden your network. So don't just stay in a corner and think that, oh, I'm going to do this, or how am I going to do this? How am I going to start? Find people, and that is how you're going to help yourself. Now, last tip for just this episode: monetization. How do we make money using content? A lot of content creators depend on one way to making money with content creation. Some of them don't even know how to make money. Some of them don't know how to negotiate their rates. People are out here charging, hey, ha, crazy amounts of money just because of that one video that had 40,000 views. Get really sharp. In the famous words of Ndibo, get really sharp. Because you have to do the research and the strategy, because you also need to know how much it charges to do a post on TikTok, how much it charges to do a post on Instagram, how much is a post on Facebook. You can't charge me jwalo fela. So you always need to know all the different ways. But there is different ways to make money in content creation. There's different ways, like for example, you can do brand deals, which means a brand will come to you and pay you. Done. You could do trade exchanges, though it's not physical money or physical cash, it is still a paid partnership. So, which means they will send you a package or they will give you a product and ask for a review or a plug for the content. Thirdly, there's also affiliate programs. You've seen how a lot of people say, use the link and you get 25% off. That is an affiliate program, which means you are working with the brand and the brand pays me. And when you buy, you get a discount and it goes to my name. All of that stuff we're going to cover in the different types of episodes that are coming up. So subscribe while you're here. There's different ways. There's also ambassadorship deals that people do where it's exactly what it is. You're the ambassador, especially when it comes to things like car deals, phone deals as well. And, people are doing big things now because there's even apartment ambassadorships. I'm telling you, it's going down for real. So be intentional with your content creation. Just now you get an apartment there and you're busy creating content, but there's those different types of ways to make the money. So in the comment section below, comment questions and all of the topics that you want us to cover, all of the questions that you have to ask, all the things you want to know when it comes to content creation, especially when it comes to the creator economy. We're going to have a bunch of different content creators, your favorites, even some of your least favorites, because some of y'all are haters, and it's fine. It's okay. Hating is part of the, we need haters. So we're gonna have all kinds of different people that are gonna come and talk. We're gonna have influencer marketing specialists, we're gonna have brand managers, we're gonna have, hey, it's gonna be very, very hectic. So comment down below what you want to see us talk about, and we're gonna cover. And just like that, imagine, I feel like I just sat down and the whole thing is done. That was just a taste of what is coming up on Creator Conversations. So I look forward to connecting with you all. I look forward to seeing all your content creation questions and all your content creation feedback and what you think about this and all the things you'd like us to talk about. Over and out for now. Bye.